The average person in the United States consumes about 5 grams of plastic per week. It's about the equivalent of a credit card. Yet, most people spend most of their time these days worrying about the latest detox or heavy metal chelating when they're still getting a ton of toxins into their body and they've done nothing to actually cut them off at the source. I've spent several years really deeply working on my health, learning about all sorts of different detoxes, learning about toxins in the environment, and even working with a naturopath to really get my own health back in order and do other protocols with them. Now, a lot of the problem that I see currently is that there's just so many toxins in our environment. This is the most toxins that a human has ever been exposed to in history. It's in all of our food, our water, the air. It's all around you and it's getting into you. And I want to help you really target and get rid of those toxins in your life, which will then give you the foundation to really do these detox protocols and get your health back ultimately. The first big area where you're going to have a lot of issues with toxins is in your kitchen. And one big source of this is your water source. So people who are drinking tap water and bottled water especially are getting high amounts of plastics in their water. That's the biggest source of this water. So my fact of the 5 grams of plastic, a lot of that is coming through tap water and bottled water. Tap water also contains a lot of things like arsenic or even mercury or lead. Still, even in the United States, there's still a lot of places that still have lead pipes in their house, and that's bringing lead right to the people who are drinking that water. I highly recommend getting a reverse osmosis water system. This is going to give you the cleanest water that you can get, and it's really good for clearing out microplastics and nanoplastics. A lot of the simple filtration filters, those are only going to maybe get microplastics at best. And some of the cheaper filters are not even getting things like chlorine out of your water. And you definitely want that stuff out of your water. Personally, I would recommend an under the sink system, which is going to cost a good bit of money, usually about $400 to $600. It will take some installation. I would say most people could probably install it themselves. However, it might be helpful to have someone else do it. Typically, I would say go for 5 or more stages of filtration. Ideally, 6 or more would be the best. You're going to want a filter that will actually remineralize your water. I currently use an Apex system that I've been really happy with, which I'll have a link below if you want to check out that system. I don't have any affiliation with them. I just like using that particular system. Also, if you're someone who is maybe in an apartment and you're looking for a good way to really clean out your water and get the best quality water, I would try out an AquaTrue system. It's not going to be quite as good as that under the sink model just because of the fact that you're going to have less stages of filtration. Still though, it's going to give a really high quality setup without having to do any of that drilling. With that system in particular, you will have to remineralize that water yourself, so that is a con, having to remineralize that. However, I've enjoyed it myself. I used it a lot for travel and things like that, and with me moving into an apartment soon, I might end up going with that as my choice unless I do some more research and I'm able to find something that really has more filtration capabilities. And ideally, if I could get one that hooked onto the end of the sink faucet, that would be more ideal just because of refilling a bucket does get old. I use a lot of filtered water. That can become a hassle. One of the next things that I really highly recommend is using an app called Think Dirty. Now, with this app, you can scan the products in your household. So this is not simply just kitchen. You can do this in every area of your house. Scan the barcode on your products and the app will actually tell you if you click on the good, the bad. For example, you can go in deep in the app and you can actually see what ingredients are bad and why. This will really help you clean out a lot of junk in your home. It'll help you get rid of a lot of dyes, fragrances, all sorts of stuff that's really just toxic to your health. You might even find a lot of products, they're linked to cancer and all sorts of issues. These are all mainstream, just acceptable products that people buy and sell every day. And you can start getting rid of these out of your house pretty easily just with scanning this app. It really does not take a whole lot of effort. The app even actually will suggest better products that are cleaner inside of the app. And of course, same with them. I'm not affiliated. I've just personally went through my products in my house and I've had some really good success with that. I think that that's a really good way to start eliminating toxins out of your household. And still on the kitchen area, your food is going to be a huge source of toxins. I highly recommend switching over to organic food. Organic foods are going to have cleaner pesticides. I know they're still going to have some pesticides, but they're going to be less and they're going to be higher quality than a lot of the junkier ones that you're going to see on the regular foods. They're also not going to be genetically modified, which to me is a huge selling point. Not having to, experiment. We don't really know what the results of those GMOs are going to be. And I don't really want to eat foods that are not going to be known as fully safe. At least to me, having the cleanest, purest foods that I can get is the best. Of course, if you can grow your own foods, that's ideal. You can do little things with small gardens in your kitchen, stuff like that, to try to add in a little bit more of those homegrown foods. The next area that really has a lot of toxins is your bedroom. Now, in your bedroom, if it's carpet, that is something I would highly recommend getting rid of if you possibly can. Carpet is going to contain mold. If you walk in your room and bring any toxic stuff on the bottom of your feet or your socks, that's going to get embedded in that carpet. And the carpet really it holds a lot of dust and other debris that you really don't want around you, especially when you're sleeping or just hanging out in the room. Ideally, get rid of the carpet especially. And clean the room once a week. Clean the dust, clean all of that. Dust especially even contains more plastic particles which you'll breathe and will get in your lungs, but it contains all sorts of other nasty stuff that you just do not want in your body. So I also recommend getting a high quality HEPA air filter. And I know myself, I'm allergic to dust, so a high quality HEPA air filter makes all the difference. And just after about 6 months, mine gets just full of just nasty gunk, all sorts of hair, and just disgusting stuff. It bothers my allergies just even removing the little charcoal filter on the outside of it. Now, another big area where you can get toxins is places where you work. So if you handle things like chemicals, or maybe you work on cars, you're touching oils and those types of things, or maybe you're using paints, all of that type of stuff can really add into having a high toxic load, and that can make you really sick. I highly recommend wearing as much protective gear as possible and having the best ventilation as possible where you work. And depending on where you work, I'm sure there's going to be laws that can help protect you from certain exposures. Another big thing that plays a huge factor in this is really just the area you live in. So things like mills or even high traffic can actually cause a lot of pollution in the air that you'll end up breathing in. And there's all sorts of toxic stuff in that. Personally, I live by a paper mill, which actually has recorded amounts of mercury around it and the ground, the water, things like that, because these paper mills are very widely unregulated or just really underregulated in the United States. It's a terrible source for toxins, and I'm sure there's all sorts of other junk that I don't even know about. I actually can see it from my house. It's more than a mile away, but I'll see a huge dark cloud just looming over it, and of course that same dark smoke is coming out of it. It's disgusting, and really try to avoid living somewhere near that. That can really affect someone getting cancer or just having other illnesses later in their life from breathing and consuming that type of air for too long. Trying to not live in really condensed city centers will help with this as well. And now that you've really, maybe cleaned up your lifestyle and you've prevented a lot of these toxins, now maybe you could start to move into a detox protocol. I highly recommend the book The Toxin Solution by Joseph Pizzorno. He's one of the leading naturopath researchers in the world. He has a ton of great work out there. You don't have to be an expert to really read his book and get the hang of what he's saying. He goes more in depth on why you would even want to remove toxins, and then it comes with a really great detox protocol, which I've done myself. I've also worked with a naturopath myself and done similar protocols that have really just enhanced my quality of life and even healed me from issues that I've had. I recommend that book. That is really going to help you get a gauge on, what organs need to be worked on. So in that book, it's going to give you a diet that you can work on initially, and then you go through a gut phase in there, and then a liver and a kidney phase. And it also gives a lot of recommendations like doing things like the sauna to help really get toxins out of your body. This will be one of the best ways to really naturally remove a lot of toxins from your body without doing any of these crazy protocols. And then if you want to move into something like heavy metal chelation or something like that, this is really going to give you a solid foundation to help you work upon, because if you're going to be doing something like that, you're going to be stressing a lot of these organs and you're going to be putting them into overtime. You want your body to really be at its optimal state, and removing all of these toxins and really healing these organs that are helping you detox this, that's really going to give you the best results. So if you've enjoyed this video, please make sure you guys hit that like button for me. I really appreciate it. And I would love to hear in the comments down below maybe what kind of detox protocol you're interested in doing, or maybe just some interesting stuff about your health and your journey. I'd love to hear it down below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.